Hi folks, it's Jeff over at Brimwood Farm. Today I just wanted to talk to you quickly about a cutting garden. I always wanted to do a cutting garden, and when we moved in 18 months ago that was one of the major plans. However, I really underestimated the fertility of the soil in that it is awful. When I moved in it was literally just a lawn running down and one single border. I've dug it all up, I've added a lot of compost to the soil, but it's just not enough. So this year has been a little bit lacklustre in terms of growing. And I've realised that I'm going to have to put a hell of a lot more manure and leaf mulch and compost into the soil, especially over the winter, so that next year it can get going. I'm also dealing with this very rickety old fence, which I cannot afford to put a new one in. So I'm trying to cover it up as much as possible and plant the borders up so that you really don't notice it. You're noticing the plants more. So it's September, and you can put in some really great hardy annuals now. They'll overwinter fine, and then you can get some good cut flowers in the summer months, and they'll come ahead of any seeds that you sow next year. So I'm going to do some Larkspur here, and they'll hopefully grow up and sort of hide some of this. And then I'm going to do some cornflowers here. These two dahlias will be taken up. By the time I'm taking them up, these seedlings should have grown to a point where I can distinguish them, so they won't be disturbed. So let's go on and do some planting. So as I said, I've got two sets of seeds. First I've got these cornflowers, which are classic fantastic. They're a nice pale blue and white mixture. And then I've got these Larkspur, which are a bright colour mix. So I obviously won't be able to tell what colours these are until they start flowering. But if I plant enough of them, I can cut them off, and then they'll add to the farmgate sales, and I can just group them by colour to sell on to people. So we'll start with this border now. I've already added some compost, and I've already watered it. If you're starting with a new garden where the soil isn't great, you're probably going to find that you're going to have to add compost and keep it watered more than you normally would. In a mature garden where you've worked the soil, it's going to hold more water, it's going to be more attentive. In a new garden where you're only starting out, you'll find it's going to dry out a lot quicker, or it certainly has with me. So I'll be watering this consistently until these little seedlings get going. Now, direct sowing, I find with cornflowers in particular, is the best way, because whenever I sow these in a pot, they get leggy and they just don't do very well. And then you end up with floppy seed heads instead of this beautiful display. These are those little seeds. And then what I'm going to do, in a cutting garden you would do it by lines. I'm also going to do it by lines even though it's in a flower bed, because once they grow up, you won't distinguish them as lines, you'll just see the flowers. Actually, I'm not going to use that, I'll just use my hand. So we just want to fairly sparingly, because you're probably going to have to prick these out to get the best of them. I don't cover them immediately because I like to know where I've sown. Now the other thing I'm going to mention is that I'm not going to fill this whole space now either. I'm going to probably do 3 rows. And these will be my overwintering ones, and then these will flower first. And then next spring I will sow some more alongside them. So then you'll have a succession. And that's good for the house, and that's good for your farmgate sales, so you can keep selling these the flowers to your customers. And then literally just pull that over. Now as I said, this has already been watered and is already moist, so I won't actually water it again. And we've got rain due tomorrow, so I will leave that for now. And then as soon as the soil starts to dry out, that's when I'll start to give it a good old water with the watering can. So I'm going to do exactly the same with these Larkspur, but I'm going to be putting them at the back of the border, because these grow a lot higher than the cornflowers. I've also got this lovely little Jack Frost brunner at the front, so I don't want to crowd that out. So it's literally exactly the same process. I'll drill probably 3 rows, leaving myself enough room to add more in next year. The other good thing with successional planting like this is if something goes wrong, you're not completely stuffed. If, for instance, I plant these and they don't come up, or they get damaged, then I've still got the spring. If I wait on only spring, and then something happens, that's my chance gone. So by this way, you're also sort of spreading your risk, which is good to do in any situation, even if you're just growing flowers for your own garden in your own house, and you're not looking at adding them to your farmgate sales at all. Trying to get the most risk-free strategy is probably best. So again, quite sparingly, we pinch these out when they start coming up. I'm not sure what this says to do. Yeah, so every 6 inches, one plant every 6 inches, and then we'll just cover these over. We often get sort of an Indian summer here as well. It's supposed to get quite hot again next week. So these will have plenty of time to grow and get hardy for the winter. And then if we do have really bad temperatures expected to come, these areas are also small enough that I can put a cloche over the top just to give a little bit of frost protection. And that's all there is to it. It's great actually sowing things in September because it makes the year seem that much longer. Otherwise you do all your sowing in spring and then the kind of year feels as if it's always petering towards an end, whereas this way there's new beginnings. So I will let these settle in the ground, hopefully it will rain tomorrow. As the soil starts to dry out I will start watering them, and then next year, thank you, next year hopefully we can get a good crop that I can be selling at the farm gate and also enjoying in the house too. Hit the subscribe button because in a few weeks time I'm going to start thinking about your bulbs, putting in bulbs for your garden and also putting in bulbs for your cut flowers, irises, tulips, daffodils, that sort of thing. So I'll see you then. Bye!